Hi everyone, it's Nicole and welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with a special video hop in honor of Austin Adams, Becky Adams' son, who passed away not too long ago. And so today we're here to celebrate reading, which is one of the things that Austin loved. And so today I am creating this reading project here for this video hop. You can see that I have cut some words for my title from my silhouette, and honestly I'm just not going to bore you with all the details, but I'm going to go ahead. I've cut each word twice and I've got foam adhesive that I've layered in between each of those layers. It's a little bit of work, but it really looks awesome when you're done. I'm going to use a little bit of wet glue just to kind of get these placed on my project. The thing with wet glue is it's handy for intricate die cuts like this, but you really don't want to use a lot. So I hate wet glue personally. It's definitely not my favorite adhesive. It gets all over my fingers. I guess I'm a messy person, so I just hate it. I probably should be using tweezers or something, but I just can't seem to do it. So, but it is the best thing I think to get some of these more thin die cut type shapes on. So I am going to do that. I have Dreaming here cut. Those are all foamed. I am going to foam those up too when I put them down. But again, I'm just laying out all my bits of my title. This is a cut file from Jelly Bean Soup. You can get it in the Silhouette online store. I really like this one. I thought it was just perfect for this video hop. And it's nice and big, which fills up a lot of my page, so I don't have to worry too much about doing a whole lot of other things. Again, I used some of the larger words just with a different color, and then black cardstock just to fill in the more neutral words I'm going to call in my title. And yeah, just lining them up gets a little bit tricky. I am lining it up similar to how the actual cut file design is from the Silhouette store. But I mean, you don't have to do that, obviously. You can do whatever you want. But I kind of like this. I don't often use large, long titles for a design on a page, but I kind of like this one. So I did foam up the word dreaming. You can see here I'm just using these. Honestly, these are like the most amazing foam. For those of you that have watched my videos know I love foam adhesive. These are micro foam squares, and they're really tiny. And at the end, there's a strip that isn't trimmed, and I'm actually just trimming that down into larger pieces. But they're just honestly the most amazing things for die cut titles like this, or any sort of die cut shape where you just want to have a little bit of foam in behind. I need to find these in Canada so I can order like 10 packs of them. They're amazing. I've also gone ahead and cut out, again from the Silhouette store, some cloud shapes. And I'm going to use the new, what's this one called? Savage Patina is the new kind of teal color that came out this year. So I'm just adding a little bit of Distress ink to the edges of the clouds. I'm going to do that with these other ones here. These ones are more patterned. I am going to back some of this with paper, but I'm just honestly just rubbing a tiny bit of that blue so that when it goes onto the page, it kind of pops a little bit more. And it goes along with that blue that I have there in my title, so it's kind of a nice mixture of pattern and color. I am going to do these little tiny dots. This goes inside that little bubble cloud there. I am going to do that just to give them a little bit of that, just a touch of that blue color. I decided I want to use this scrap of gold foil paper, so I'm going to run my clouds, some of them at least, through my sticker maker. So this is from Xyron. I busted it, the actual cartridge, so I'm supposed to be able to turn the knob and have it go through, but you can see there I've busted the transition of where it loads off and on, but you can easily just roll it through like I did, push it through. And now my clouds are back. So the only tricky part I find with the sticker makers, the small or the larger one, is that sometimes the adhesive in something like this where there's little tiny spaces, it kind of gets stuck in between. So I just use my paper piercer here and I just run that through to make sure there's no adhesive going to show on the top of the die cut. And now I'm just going to trim those out. I thought the gold would be a nice touch. I don't often use gold foil, but I thought it would be just enough, and it's kind of I feel like it kind of goes along with the ethereal cloud thing that I have going on here with the whole dreaminess title and everything. So I'm gonna just touch up where I might have trimmed off white cardstock as I go, using my patina again. And I am going to use wet adhesive for these tiny little dots because I felt like that would be a lot quicker than running it through my little X machine and then adding, going with my paper piercer. I'm just going to punch out some little tiny circles to fill in some of the little dots here on my cloud cutout and not worrying too much about them being perfect circles because they're not perfect circles themselves. And again, using a tiny, tiny amount of wet glue to get those kind of held in place. It's kind of good to use up all the little scraps like for something like that. I'm going to let these circles just set a little bit more. They're not quite set enough for me to trim out, but yeah. Okay, so I kind of just going to place these kind of where I want them so I can get started while my little circles there dry off. I'm going to use tons of foam tape. Again, I use lots of foam adhesive in my projects. It's probably one of my favorite adhesives only because I do find it sticks and it doesn't get unstuck 5 years from now. I have a lot of projects that honestly are falling apart because I've used maybe cheaper adhesive or something, maybe just some sort of tape runner, and it's dried off. So I think the foam is the way to go. Okay, so my cloud is a little drier now, so I am going to stick that down. And I thought about putting vellum behind this as well, but to be honest, I didn't have a sheet of vellum close by, so I guess I got a little bit lazy. And see, these micro dots are perfect to fill in those skinny little pieces. But I'm just going to leave this floating here on my page the way it is and fill it in with those other little dots. I'm just going to peel off all that foam adhesive and have a touch here to go on my photo. And then I'm going to trim out these little gold circles that will fill in the rest of that kind of cloud shape. And they're kind of perfect because I can put a little foam square in behind and they're like the perfect size. So kind of nice to not have to be super finicky about these things. And what I really like is I'm using tons of cut files here, which I haven't in a really long time, which is a little bit bizarre for somebody who owns a cut file store. I'm not even using any of my own, but I just love these clouds. I think they're super cute and super fun. And, the title alone was perfect from a cut file perspective. That's kind of the good thing about having like a Cricut or a Silhouette is you can really customize your project however you want. I did want to add some gold to my other clouds that had no gold on them for consistency. So I just punched some gold foil with my heart punch. I thought that kind of added a little zhuzh in a nice way. I did use some ink here watered down just to add a little bit of that teal splatter into the background. Didn't go quite as nice as I wanted it to. I probably should have done a bit of a more watercolory background instead of the splatters, but it's okay. It will be fine. It does add in a little more of that color into the project, though. Into that background, it was a little bit flat, not a lot of color. And I thought I was missing something. I always like to add black drops. I feel like, especially when you use black and white photos, you need to have some little bits of black, especially with the black in the title. So I'm just going to have a few little sprinklings of the black ink that I use. And then I have these awesome leftover sprinkles from Doodlebug. I'm going to add a couple bits of pink here to those clouds just to bring in a little bit more color. So here's how everything turned out. I think the clouds are super cute. I really enjoyed this page. I honestly never do a lot of themey pages, but I thought that when Becky asked me to participate in this hop, it was the perfect reason to make a video about reading. I hope you'll join along and check out Becky's blog and her page for all the information about donating for Austin's Tribute. Bye-bye.